What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We are here finally to review WrestleMania 42, WrestleMania Vegas Part 2. Hopefully that's the last time we're ever here. It obviously was, WrestleMania. So I was super excited for this. I thought the card, honestly, going into both nights was better than what a lot of people thought it was going to be. I know there was a lot of talk about night one kind of being a much weaker card than night two going in. So, of course, a lot of people expected the results to show. And I feel like you guys might be a little bit shocked by some of our reviews. Just based off of the online reception that I've seen from this WrestleMania, there's a lot to critique about the matches not getting a lot of time. There's definitely something to say about the amount of ads and commercials, but we're reviewing the matches themselves. We're not so much reviewing WrestleMania as a whole. If I'm not mistaken, I think my buddy Kane is actually working on a legit overall review of WrestleMania from obviously his point of view, because Netflix was a little bit different commercials and stuff like that than what we had here in America on ESPN. So obviously the viewing is going to be a little bit different between the two of us. So obviously I'll let him talk about more than likely the majority of WrestleMania as a whole. But we are obviously going to be talking about strictly the matches and what we got in the time that we got them. So you'll notice our reviews are probably a lot higher than what you might expect them to be. And most of that is because, again, we're reviewing these based off of what we got. You'll notice that a lot of these you'll notice a theme in here, especially with my personal reviews, where they probably could have been a little bit higher if the match was given a little bit more time to breathe. But overall, we rated it based off of what we got. As you can see above me, I have Kane's reviews that he sent me for each match, and on the side there, split between night one and night two, I have my buddy John. I have my buddy David. I have my buddy Tom. You'll notice that Tom does not have his own section like he normally does. Tom was actually at my house watching this with me, as was David. Vic is my roommate. You'll notice one name missing off this review list, and that is sadly Rob. Rob decided it would be a really good idea to go on a family cruise on WrestleMania fucking weekend. So Rob, who is usually my main review co-host, along with Tom and John, or sorry, Tom and Kane rather, is not even present for this because he hasn't even seen WrestleMania. So that's great. But I had a bevy of people that were here with me, and then also John as well that was reviewing these. One thing you'll also notice with these reviews, or one thing you should probably note with these reviews, is we were all heavily intoxicated watching this show. So maybe we're just easily impressed while drunk, while Kane is more critical, and I don't want to say negative because it's subjective, but more critical when he's intoxicated. So we're going to jump right into it. You'll also notice a few things with Kane's reviews where he kind of peppered in his viewing experience. We got a lot of different ads and commercials. They got the Hulk Hogan promo about 19 times over the course of the weekend. I don't think that's an exaggeration, so you'll see him mention that quite a bit here. But we are going to jump straight into the first match, which was the Usos and LA Knight versus The Vision and Speed. A match that, honestly, I felt like was over before it began. This is probably the one match that I felt kind of got hurt by the speed, no pun intended, of the match. I wasn't expecting a bunch with it. I do feel like Logan and Austin Theory are capable of doing a lot more than they are. I've seen both of them do a lot more than they are. And it's kind of disappointing. I thought, when we were getting a lot more of Austin and Logan, we were going to get a lot more of them. They would probably, show off a little bit more and maybe actually kind of cement themselves as big meal ticket names. But so far, especially in this match, they were kind of there. But honestly, this whole match was just kind of there. Clearly, this match was on the card, especially opening the show. LA Knight and Jey Uso were obviously going to get the crowd going, so you want the crowd hot. Speed is going to put a ton of eyes on the product, which is the whole reason he's here. I was honestly very impressed with Speed. I thought he did excellent. He didn't botch anything. I thought the Sui splash onto Logan Paul through the announce table at the end after the match was over, and of course, Speed cost them the match, and it gives Uso and Knight the win, and they attack Speed, and I thought all that was great. That matter of fact, that's why I rated the match as high as I rated it, because of the after effect. Going in, this match was like a 6 for me, which is what John gave it. I actually agree with John. I gave this match a 6. Sorry, my cushion on my chair is falling. I gave this match a 6 initially until all that extra stuff happened at the end, and that kind of brought it up a little bit. I'm grabbing my calculator so I can add all these up together in a second. There you go. You just saw how the magic works. But honestly, like I gave this match a 7 because of all the after effects at the end. As you can see over there, John gave it a 6. David gave it an 8. Mostly because he is a big Jey Uso fan and Jey Uso won. Tom gave it a 7. Vic gave it a 7.5. And then old Kane above me gave it a 6 out of 10. Stating, firstly, I think Speed is a really solid comedic actor. Never really watched his stuff outside of the occasional clip. I knew he was a solid athlete, but I was really impressed with his facial expressions. The match itself was fine, nothing really special, but I don't think the expectations were that high. A good way for Speed fans to be introduced to wrestling more with some of the more casual, friendly characters in Knight, the Usos, and Logan Paul. Austin Theory is also there. Kind of a nothing but a fun post-match. So he kind of agreed with me, but obviously the post-match didn't really boost the rating at all for him. We're working with, I believe, 6 total, counting myself. So dividing it by 6, you get 6.916 rotating. So this is actually going to get bumped up to a 7, which is kind of what a lot of us kind of gave it there. So the average kind of won out there. 7 out of 10. A decent opener. Like I said, there was no botches. No one got hurt. It wasn't terrible. It was short, but you're going to see that as a theme with every single match on this card. So at some point, you can't judge it based off of time, because every match will kind of had the same issue there. But again, a fun fun starter. Got a lot of new eyes. That's kind of the whole point of the match. So can't really complain. Next up, we have Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu in an unsanctioned match. Personally, I expected a little bit more out of this match. Now, that does not mean this match was bad by any degree. Matter of fact, this match was fantastic. This was a great Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu match. Unfortunately, you put this match during the ESPN2 hour because Night 1 was shown on ESPN2 to a nationally syndicated audience for the first hour. So there's a limit to what you can really do. You can't be but so dangerous because you are on technically national television. So you can't have a lot of blood. You can't have a lot of cursing. You can't have Pat McAfee's iconic middle fingers. All right? So you can't really... I would have probably put the women's fatal 4-way the tag team match, the match that came on after this, I would have flipped these two on the card. Because obviously, yes, you want to showcase the hardcore side of WWE, yada yada. But you're doing that night too with the IC ladder match. This one didn't really make sense to me to put this on here. I feel like you could have done more if it wasn't limited by the ESPN mantra behind it. And honestly... yeah, I gave it a 7. I thought this match was good, personally. But again, I expected so much more out of it because of the unsanctioned theme behind it. Loved the match. Loved what they did. But I feel like they could have done more. I mean, the finish was great. He did the moonsault onto Drew on a table. That's a great finish spot on a normal, hardcore, no disqualification match. You put that unsanctioned on there, I'm expecting these two to kill each other. That's the build. The build of this match was them two trying to kill each other. The SmackDown that I went to live in Raleigh, North Carolina, was literally them doing a brawl for 3 fucking hours, and it ended with them launching themselves off of a side of a tower somewhere, off of a balcony. So the expectations were so high for this match, which is why I gave it a 7. Because again, it was a great match, not quite what I was looking for in terms of the action and the damage that they caused. Obviously, that didn't deter my 4 friends. John gave it an 8.5. Whoops, not a 78. Oh my gosh. Hold on 1 second here. Let me fix that. An 8.5. David gave this match an 8. Tom agreed, gave it an 8. Vic agreed with John, gave it an 8.5. But as you can see, Vic looked at it a little bit differently, gave this match a 6. Honestly, this is a bit disappointing. Standard TV street fight and kind of a clunky one at that. Character work was great because Drew knows exactly who he is as a character, and Jacob Fatu is really strong in his own right. Call back to the toolbox was fun, and it's always nice to see a table spot or two, but this match really needed more, or to be on the main card to get some color. Same thing I said. Personally, I'd have had it run throughout the night like Roddy Piper versus Goldust, just random cutaways between the matches of them fighting around the stadium until a payoff near the end of the night, with something crazy to fully write off Drew. I agree with that. I don't know if that would work too much with the way that the night was structured, and again, the fact that you put this on the nationally syndicated hour kind of limits what you can do. But overall, I do agree with this point. This match is going to end up getting a 7.6, so somehow, some way, me and Kane are getting outvoted, and this match is going to be an 8. Because again, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't quite what it could have been. And again, the fact that we ended up averaging at 7.6 repeating, we don't have middle averages here, so it's going to round up to an 8. But again, the match was still good. It was a good match from the two of them. It's just when you like Kane, me and Kane are kind of on the same note here. When you throw that unsanctioned out there, there's a certain expectation, and this match never hit it. Next up, we have the women's fatal 4-way match between Lyra and Bayley. Charlexa, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, the coming champions, which was Nia Jax and Lash Legend, and what was supposed to be the Bella Twins. Nikki Bella hurt her ankle, so they did a pivot, and they managed to re-sign Paige, one of my OGs. The reason that I am into the type of women that I'm into. You can blame Paige and AJ Lee, who's coming up later, but oh my god, the pop that I did in my living room when Paige came out. Of course, I had unfortunately read the dirt sheets. I read the spoiler that she was re-signed and more than likely taking Nikki's place. So when I saw Nikki come out in the boot, I knew it was real. So obviously I was expecting it, but just the fact that it actually happened, the fact that Paige is back, the fact that we got a new champions, Paige is champion again with Bella, with Brie Bella. Listen, I'm a huge Paige fan. I've liked her since I was growing up, as I stated. I didn't hate her. Her AEW one was a little disappointing. Now, of course, I'm not the biggest AEW fan as it is, but it looked like her heart wasn't in it. She had a lot of stuff going on in the background, a lot of stuff going on in her personal life. So I get that her AEW run was a little bit disappointing for a lot of people, but I'm so glad she's back. I think she is probably one of the best wrestlers of her time. I think she can actually keep up with the women of this time, maybe a little bit more than AJ Lee can, because unlike AJ Lee, she was still wrestling over the last 8 years. AJ Lee was basically sitting at home for most of it before she started training again. So I feel like Paige could probably keep up with the Rhea Ripley's, the Becky Lynch's a little bit more. I think she can keep up with the Alexas and the Charlottes. I think the Baileys, I think she can keep up with them a lot more than AJ Lee can. Although that doesn't mean AJ Lee can eventually. But ultimately, I thought she showed it in this match. I think her finishers are great. Her finishers were crisp. Of course, she hit it on the smaller opponent, being Alexa Bliss. I'm really glad that she won. I wasn't upset by anything in this match. I didn't think there was any bad spots. I didn't think... Oh, I forgot to change Kane's ratings here. I apologize for that. Let me fix that really quickly here. I didn't think there was any bad spots. I didn't think that there was any missed plays. I didn't think there was any botches. I didn't think there was any major notes to have of, oh, this could have been better, that could have been better. It was a good match. Like, they fought really fucking well. Now, do I agree with Vic that it was a 10 out of 10? No. But I also know that Vic is just as much a Paige fan as I am. I gave his match a 9. I understand that I might seem extremely high, given what I said about, Jacob Fatu, given what I said about the opener. This match wasn't anything spectacular. There wasn't any highlight spots, but I thought it was a crisp match. I was entertained. And again, that's the whole point. I was entertained by this match from start to finish. I like the fact that it was 4 women in the ring at one time, which gave them more to do. There was more action. I thought it was very fast-paced. I didn't think there was any slow points on there. Listen, as far as what I was expecting a Fatal 4-Way women's tag match to be, I got what I expected. And we also got a great winner out of it. So I gave this match a 9, same as John, same as David, same as Tom. Of course, Vic gave it that 10 that's going to stand there. But as you can see above me, Kane, not fucking impressed one bit. Not at all. Kane gave this match a 5 out of 10. Stating women going to get this out of the way because this is an issue throughout the night. If you watch this in the UK, Hulk Hogan had more screen time than every women's match combined. That's honestly a bit outrageous. Paige is back, which is good to see. I did not like her AEW run. He does watch AEW. He's an AEW fan, so he would know more than I would. But honestly, I think that's more down to personal issues and a clash of styles than it is her as a performer. Good to have her back, but the match just felt scrambled and rushed because it was. The women deserve better than this card in a combined match time of 26 minutes across 3 title matches, but Hogan got a pose, I guess. I think he was more upset by the time of this match, as you can kind of tell by his review there. He kind of said that. Don't know why I said I think, but that's basically his big issue was it felt rushed. I thought that the pacing was good and there was no lulls in the action, and it filled the time well. Kane thinks it should have been stretched out a little bit more. There should have been a lot more pacing. There should have been better time. They should have been able to do more. So I understand where he's coming at from his rating, but from what we got, I enjoyed it, which is something I can't necessarily say about a match coming up here in a little bit on this card. And as you can tell, it is the lowest rated match overall from everyone, so you can kind of get an idea of where I'm going with that one. But unfortunately for Kane, this averaged out to an 8.5. And that means somehow, some way, the women's Fatal 4-Way title match is going to be put at a 9 because of the 8.5, 5 rounds up. Listen, if you guys don't agree, make your own fucking review or comment down below. I'm just telling you, but 4 people gave it a 9 or a 10. So, clearly, maybe we're just more easily impressed than other people are. Next up, we have AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. Again, a match that I was really looking forward to, and I don't want to say I was disappointed. This was definitely not the best match these two have put on, but I still thought it was a good match. This is probably their second best one out of the 4 that they've had. I feel like their last one, which AJ Lee won, was their best. I think I gave that match an 8 out of 10. I gave this match a 7, but ultimately, I thought it was a good match. Again, nothing spectacular. AJ Lee looked probably the best that she has herself. Again, the last match was the best because I feel like it reached a better crescendo because it was given more time, which again, I know I said that we were reviewing based off of what we got, but this match would have benefited from more time because we saw what happens when AJ Lee gets going in their last match. When she gets going, she can run with these girls. It just takes her a little time to get there. This match, she was a lot better at the beginning than she was in her last couple matches, but she never quite hit that peak that I felt like the last match got. So I gave this match a 7. I was still entertained by it. I still enjoyed it. I thought that the shenanigans between Becky Lynch and Jessica Carr, I would love to see the two of them run it back at fucking Backlash. Jessica Carr wrestles on Evolve. Not under Jessica Carr, under a different name. I don't know what it is, but I know that she wrestles on Evolve, so she can technically go if she wants to. And I think having a referee fight a superstar just because of how badly the superstar keeps treating the ref, I think that'd be a great match. So I would love to see that personally. I can't wait to see what AJ Lee does next. However, the way she was talking in her post-Mania interview with, I believe, Kathy, it almost seemed like she might be leaving again, which would be really upsetting since she just came back. But honestly, her coming back was a bonus. No one really expected her to come back. This is her coming back just to share the ring with a few people. But my biggest issue if she does leave is she's really only feuded with one person, and that's Becky Lynch. And she's had one match with Bayley. Which, yes, that's her work wife, so of course that's her wrestling wife is Bayley, so of course she probably enjoyed sharing a ring with her again. But I would love to see AJ Lee go toe to toe with the Rheas, with Io, with Asuka, with some of the younger up and coming ones like give her Ivy Nile, give her some of the NXT call ups, the ones that watched her when they were kids. Give her Soruka. I would love to see her go against Liv. Give her Kyrie. I think she could really go with a lot of these girls, and unfortunately, I feel like, if this is it for her again as she leaves, I feel like we're missing a lot on the table. So I would love to see what she does from here. Overall, I gave this match, like I said, I gave it a 7. John gave this match a 7.5. David gave his match a 7.5. Tom gave it a 7. And we have Vic with a 7.5 as well. And then, of course, we have Kane up there giving it a 7. Kane is actually on our side on this one, which has become a rarity lately. Another short match, but because this is 1v1, it can make more out of the time. As usual, Becky is excellent. Her continued feud with referee Jessica Carr is brilliant. Honestly, is the match I want most after Mania. So me and Kane agree. I would love to see that match. Not the cleanest match these two have had, technically speaking, but still a fun time, 7 out of 10. And this is actually going to average out to a 7.25. So a 7 is where it's going to go, which I think is a perfect spot for it. Next up, we have Seth Rollins versus Gunther. What a fucking masterpiece. I don't know how these two managed to put on an absolute classic of a match, in my opinion, and as you could tell based on the reviews there, their opinions too, with no build. This was just a straight up, who's a better wrestler, let's go to fucking town, and then it was ruined by Braun Breaker, but you know what, we gotta have some storyline, and since Braun Breaker and Seth have actually been built up, I'm cool with it. The rumors were always coming out that, you know, that Braun Breaker was going to be good to go technically once WrestleMania time, but it was like 2 weeks before, and it wasn't enough time to really reignite the build, and we need something for Gunther to do because Rey Mysterio waited till the last minute to say, hey, guess what? I can go. So we ended up getting Gunther versus Seth, and honestly, they put on a fucking banger. An absolute banger. I love this match. They were so fucking good. Seth Rollins is healthy. Gunther looked great. The chemistry was off the charts. The spots were great. The back and forth, the technicals, the mat play, the psychology between the two of them. The selling was great. I thought the fucking table stomp was great that put him out of commission until Braun Breaker did his thing. I thought Braun Breaker was excellent until he tried that last spear at the end of the match when everything was all ready and done, and he pulled a Las Vegas Raider, and of course we're in Allegiant Stadium, so where the Raiders play, and he missed a tackle, go figure. But I thought this match was great. We all gave it 10s, with the exception of the guy who loves Gunther, which is Kane. Kane gave his match an 8 out of 10. I still don't think it's going to change anything. Yeah, it's going to end up becoming a 9.66, so it's going to end up becoming a 10. But Kane said, match of the night for me, and while that is mostly to be expected from the two involved, it's mostly down to them having nearly as much time as the prior two matches combined, potentially more if you include the brawl before the bell. Really great wrestling with lots of fun counters and tension as both men had good reason to pick up the win. I did forget about the brawl at the beginning, so yeah, this match actually really had a lot of time. Breaker coming back to cause Rollins is great and made for a great way to keep both men looking strong in the result. I'm glad Breaker is back, and I hope we can get his ascension to the main event back on track. I do believe Breaker's going to end up winning that feud with Seth, but I still think it's going to be a fun time. So, yeah, ultimately, a 10 out of 10. This match was fucking great. I loved it, and I can't wait to see what comes next from these guys. Next up, we have Stephanie Vaquer versus Liv Morgan. A match that I was actually kind of looking forward to. I thought the brawl between these two was excellent coming up. I thought that everything that they were doing leading up to this match was great. The concussion scare was a little bit iffy. I think I actually read this match had time cut because they knew Liv wasn't 100% and Stephanie Vaquer also was not 100%. And so because of that, this match was actually cut short of the time that they were going to be allotted. They were actually going to have significant more time. I don't know about significant more, but I believe I read that it was like 3 to 5 minutes of the match was cut, or 2 to 4 minutes, which obviously doesn't sound like a lot, but given the fact that these two were given 7 fucking minutes, cutting 5 minutes of the match is an astronomical number. The difference between a 7-minute match and a 12-minute match when it comes to what you can do, how you can sell, the story that you can tell. I mean, Gunther and Seth got, like, I think 15 minutes. And that was including their brawl. I think after the brawl was 11 minutes of a match. So that was still like an 11-minute match with a 5-minute brawl, so 16 minutes. Look at the story they told. These two could have done the exact same thing if you gave them the time to do it, and unfortunately, you kind of cut them short. So, unfortunately, we literally gave this 7s across the board. Even Kane gave this a 7. I gave it a 7. Honestly, you could have given it a 6, and I would have believed you. Obviously, we gave it a 7, so obviously we don't hate the match. But it could have been so much better, and that's the big thing. It could have been better. This match had all the makings of a 9 going into it, and it dropped the ball. So I'm disappointed in the match, even though we gave it a 7. Kane agrees, gave it a 7 as well. This is a solid match. Valkyria is great, and I think Liv has come so far as a performer, especially as a character. Not sure if that theme is it, though. You know what? It fits her, and it's actually different, so I like it enough. And honestly, it's kind of growing on me. I'm not going to lie. These two worked well together and played off each other well. Of course, Judgment Day shenanigans are always afoot, which helped Liv secure the win and the title. Now let's have Raquel set her sights on gold. I agree with that 100%. However, I do believe Liv is carrying that thing through Crown Jewel. I also believe, well, the winner of Night 2's Women's Championship match, which we'll get to in a minute, is also probably going to hold it, because I think we're going to get those two again. But we'll come back to that one in a little bit. And finally, we have the main event of Night 1, which was Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the WWE title. I actually loved the match that we got. I do believe that the story going into this match was hot dog shit. But I do believe that as far as the actual match goes, I loved what we got. I actually enjoyed Jelly Roll taking Pat McAfee out, so it was strictly Cody versus Randy. We didn't have Pat doing shenanigans throughout the entire night. We did have the ref bump because Randy was blind because of the blood in his eyes, which we thought made sense. Pat McAfee comes in, does his fucking thing. Doesn't ruin the ending like Travis Scott did. What was confusing to me was the heel face back and forth. I felt like because of the crowd reaction, Cody played the heel and did a lot of heel tactics, finger pokes, low blows, kind of set up the ref bump because of the finger poke. And then at the end, Randy Orton is doing heel stuff, and then he RKO's Pat McAfee, which is going to get cheers. And then after the match, Cody Rhodes takes advantage of it, which is a heel tactic he's been doing for a while. And then at the end, he gets hit by the fucking title and punted. So it's like it flipped. You had all the makings of a double turn, and then you flipped it again. And I don't understand exactly where they're going with this. Obviously, this is going to continue on for some time, but I can't shake the feeling that there could have been more done story-wise, and then the ending to just kind of retcon most of the match was a really odd choice. So I actually gave this match a 7 out of 10. I was not quite as impressed with it as the other two were. And again, as I've said with every other 7 on the board here, it wasn't a bad match. It was a fantastic match. I just don't know how to feel about the build. I don't know how to feel about Pat McAfee. I don't know how to feel about the ending. I don't know where we go from here. Obviously, I'm recording this you can't really see it down there below because I'm blocking it with their reviews, but I'm recording this on Tuesday night. So the Monday after Raw's already happened. That CM Punk and Cody segment's already happened. So I don't know where they're going with Cody and the story. It's not over. It's going to continue. And if it's going to continue and Randy's going to win the belt, why not just give him the fucking belt here? I don't know. I don't 100% get the reason with Cody winning if your end goal is to give Randy Orton number 15. But if your end goal is not to give Orton 15, then I feel like you wasted a lot of potential here. And the heel turn also continues to not make sense. So I gave this match a 7 out of 10. As you can tell, everyone else liked it a lot more than I did. Well, I guess, again, 7 versus an 8 versus, a bunch of 9s. I guess you can say the 9s are a lot more. But even Kane gave his match a 7. Stating, this match really felt like Triple H telling Ari Manning to go fuck himself, which you know what, I'm here for it. The match started off a little slow, like the worst of Orton. Randy Orton's notoriously slow, and they played that into a good storyline around his back and had that old school wrestling flair that Cody loves to bring to big matches. The spots were a little confusing, though. Cody played up... Exactly. I did not read Kane's reviews going into this, by the way, so we're just actually agreeing on this. Cody played up being a heel, but Pat was obviously the heel presence with Randy. Then Randy RKO'd Pat, a babyface move. Cody took advantage, a heel move. Randy attacked and punted Cody after the fact, a heel move. I think Randy is still a heel, but not a TKO heel, the worst kind of heel, and Cody's still a face, more of a gray area than he was before. I agree with that, but it does create a very confusing product. This match is going to end up being an 8 because of 8.16 down ascending, so an 8 is where it's going to be at. But yeah, I agree with Kane on this one. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of promise here that we're not getting because the ending was very confusing and no one knows where to go with it. But we're going to move on to night 2 now. Night 1 I thought was, you know, again, I did not hate. Oh, I don't know why I picked that one. That is the next match. But, you know, it's weird for me because I don't know exactly, you know, a lot of the hate that this night 1 got was because it wasn't as good or it was disappointing or it was too short. It was like people were more upset about the commercials and ads and match times than what we actually got in the matches. So we reviewed, again, strictly the matches. We reviewed strictly the matches. We didn't review all the mumbo jumbo and all the ads and commercials. So I can't really comment on those, and I'm not going to let those necessarily take away from these unless the time hurt the match, like Liv and Vaquer. The time did hurt Liv and Vaquer for me, but the others, we still got decent shit with what we... And moving on to night 2, of course, we have Oba versus Brock. Perfection. I was not expecting Brock Lesnar to retire after the match. Now, of course, it's not 100% confirmed. WWE keeps leaving it open. But he retired. He left his boots and his gloves in the ring. And man's gone. If he comes back, it's going to be a storyline. But I really do feel like he decided on his own, tonight's the night. I don't get better than this. I don't have a better send-off than this. I went out on my back. I'm done. I'm leaving. Exit up. Paul Heyman. Let's go out. Let's hug. And let's remember this night forever. Oba Femi is a fucking beast. I've loved Oba since he was... I've loved him for 2 years now in NXT. He is absolutely phenomenal. I'm so glad Brock put him over the way he did. I'm not a fan of squash matches, as you all are very well aware. I have said it multiple times in these reviews. I do not like squash matches. I do not see them as productive on a normal basis. I have made a slight exception for this match because Oba squashed Brock Lesnar. That has never before been fucking seen before. Well, I guess technically it has, but when Goldberg squashed Brock, I thought it was bullshit because Goldberg didn't need to get built. And Goldberg did it in 12 fucking seconds. This was still enough of a back and forth to be considered a true match, but it was still giving Oba the dominating presence. Is Oba going to dominate a CM Punk? No. Is he going to dominate a Gunther? No. Is he going to dominate Roman Reigns or Jacob Fatu or Drew McIntyre? No. But he dominated an aging, out-the-door Brock Lesnar, which is still a massive, massive, massive achievement. So it was enough to make it so you still built Oba to be this dominating presence, but it was long enough to make it, or short enough to make it so it was a semi-squash of Brock Lesnar. Unfortunately, I can't give it a 10. I would, but you guys know I have a moral obligation to look down upon squashes, so the most that I can give this match is gonna be a 9. As you can tell, that did not front John. John gave it a 10. David and Tom, they gave it an 8, 9, and then Vic gave it an 8. Vic gave it an 8 again because it was a squash match, kind of the same as me. Tom and David gave it the score they gave it because, well, it was still emotional seeing Brock Lesnar walk away, and they love Oba Femi, and they love seeing Oba Femi do this. They have not seen 20 years of Brock Lesnar like I have, to have this emotional impact from this. But Kane also gave this match a 10, stating, this is actually going to average out to a perfect 9, by the way. Kane gave it a 10, saying there was only one correct choice going into this match. They made it. WWE have successfully made a new star in Oba Femi, something they arguably haven't really done since the Shield imploded. Cody and Styles were stars from elsewhere. But Oba is here. This is exactly what he needed, but more importantly, it was what WrestleMania needed. The next big thing. Now strap the rocket to him. Oh, and I don't believe that's it for Brock for a second. They played it up way too much. I can kind of see what he's saying there with like the way they were talking in commentary, but that's because when he did that extra Paul Heyman, I think he went off script. I don't think he was expected to retire. I think he made that choice on his own. Now, that does mean that Triple H can say, hey, guess what, motherfucker? I promised Gunther a match with you at SummerSlam. How much money do I have to give you to make that match still happen? That could very well be the case. We'll have to see. But I can see Kane's point of view here. Next up we have, oh God, what might be the fucking match of the, I don't know why I keep picking the picture instead of Kane's actual thing here. This fucking ladder match, dog. Perfection. I'm mad he gave it an 8. This was such a good fucking match. Arguably one of the best ladder matches we've seen in a long time. Of course, I said the same thing about the TLC match on the Friday Night SmackDown after Mania last year, but I legitimately believe that this is one of the very few times where I think all 6 members 110%, even Rusev, 110% truly belonged. Rusev played his role perfectly. Rusev got offense. Rusev looked like a monster with that ladder. Rusev took some insane fucking bumps. He literally took that OG cutter off the ladder. He took the bull to that. That wasn't too much higher than what Javon Evans goes normally, but he picked fucking Rusev. Well, Rusev kind of fell off the ladder, but he picked Rusev off the ladder with that fucking move. Rey Mysterio, I'm pretty sure is aging backwards in some weird Benjamin Button-esque way. The man is 51, doing bumps that I feel like 30 and 40-year-old stars can't do. What the fuck do they feed this guy? What stem cells did they give him? Superman's? It is insane what Rey Mysterio can do at 51, 52 years old when you've got 48-year-old stars hanging it up. Just absolutely insane. Love the spots. I'm JD McDonough. What every single time this man is in a match with big spots, he excels. He needs a title. I would not be shocked, with the exception of maybe Rey Mysterio, because he might be a little bit too old to do it. I feel like all of the other 5 competitors, or 4 competitors in this match, being Javon Evans, Rusev, Dragon Lee, and JD McDonough, I have a feeling they're going to popcorn this belt. I would not be shocked if by next WrestleMania, every single wrestler in this match, not named Rey Mysterio, and Penta, because he's obviously the current champion, are going to be holders of that IC belt sometime in the next calendar year. I think they all deserve it. I think Rusev beats Penta. I would not be shocked if we get a fatal 4-way match at Backlash and Rusev wins it. I think maybe you give Javon his moment at next WrestleMania or at SummerSlam. Because even if you do it next WrestleMania and he's 22, he'd still be the youngest Intercontinental Champion. Because I believe the youngest Intercontinental Champion was 23 or 24. So he would still set that record, even if it takes another year for him to win that belt. So I truly believe that every single member of this match, not named Rey, will be Intercontinental Champion in the next calendar year. But this match was phenomenal. Absolute banger. Absolute just insane spots. Great winner. Great finish. It's a 10. As you can see, Vic gave this match a 1 million out of 10, as he put it there. So we're just going to put it at a 10. I know that Kane's 8 might end up making it like a 9 point something, but we're going to give it a 10 just because of Vic's million. I don't want to break the scale too much, but I feel like with 5 of us giving it a 10, I don't think the 8's going to shake it up that much, so it's going to stay at 10. Kane said, aside from his title win, this is the first true glimpse of what makes Penta one of the most exciting stars in pro wrestling today. His ability to work within the confines of a stipulation, to elevate it and make it feel special with the people he's with. This is a great match with some incredible spots. The Destroyer to JD on the ladder bridge. God damn, that Destroyer was so good. The OG cutter off the ladder to Rusev. The assisted West Coast pop to Rusev on the ring apron through a ladder bridge on the outside. Everyone got a moment to shine. Penta looks incredible as the champion. 8 out of 10. But we're just going to go ahead and put it at a 10 because honestly, and I'm sure Kane can kind of understand where we're coming from. And probably is like, you know what? Yeah, you guys. I don't think Kane will be too upset with this one compared to some of the other ones like the women's fatal 4-way match that he really didn't like compared to us, I don't think he's going to really debate me too much on. Next up, we have my GOAT, Sami Zayn, who is unfortunately slowly becoming heel, versus the new Big Fang, Trick Willie, with his lemon pepper steppers, Trick Williams. Listen, I enjoyed this match a lot. I do feel like these two have another gear they could hit. I said that Liv and Vaquer were one of the only matches that were hurt by the time restrictions every match got. And I think this one might have also fallen victim to the same thing. Because this wasn't a very long match. It was like an 8 or 9 minute match. And I know Sami Zayn can go for long ones. And I know Trick Williams can go for long ones. So I would like to see these two run it back on a typical 5-match, 20-minute banger and really run with it. Maybe a best of 3. Maybe, obviously, Sami Zayn probably shouldn't win any of them, so I don't know if Sami Zayn can afford to take 3 straight losses. But I wouldn't mind seeing these two run it back at some point, because this was a great showcase between the two of them. But I do feel like this one was hurt by the time a little bit. I gave this match, if I'm not mistaken, I know I wrote it down, I gave this match a 7 out of 10, and honestly that might be a little bit generous. I'll stick with the 7 because that's what I wrote. But honestly, if you gave it a 6, I probably wouldn't judge you too much. As you see, Kane also gave it a 6. But the other guys, they weren't as disappointed as I was. John gave it an 8.5. David gave it a 7.5. Tom a 7. Vic an 8, and Kane the 6, which divided by 6, not divided by 36, if I could type, gives it a 7.3. So it's actually going to end up being a 7 when it's all said and done here. Mostly because probably me and Kane kind of weighed that down a little bit. Kane said the Spirit of Night 1 possessed the card after an impeccable first hour, it seems, because Sami versus Trick felt really drained. Following 2 bangers is never easy, and they did a good enough job, but this just felt disjointed to me. This felt like it was going to be the star-making moment for Trick, but honestly, it just didn't. This was just another match. Very little drama, storytelling, or even character evolution for either man. I disagree with that. I really feel like Sami Zayn kind of matured here, or matured his character to a bit more of a heelish way with how he interacted with Little Yachty. Little Yachty was beside Trick Williams here, and I feel like with Sami and Little Yachty, Sami kind of beating his ass and throwing him in the banister and Helluva kicking him and stuff like that. I feel like it did evolve his character a little bit more, but Trick Williams was Trick Williams. Then again, it only got 7 minutes. It wasn't built to be a quick bout. Hogan got a pose, I guess. Yeah. This was I agree with, as I said, I kind of said the same thing as Kane there did at the end there. This match was hurt by the time. A 7-minute match that should have been a 15-minute match that could have easily been a 15-minute match. Both of these two can go for a long time. Again, I think you should run it back with more time given. I did see one fun thing. Again, I'm recording this after Raw. Liv Morgan fought Sol Ruca last night. That match was 14 minutes long. So the Liv versus Sol Ruca match was longer than Trick Williams and Sami Zayn and Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer combined. Or maybe it was the exact same. But still. One match on Raw was the equivalent of 2 WrestleMania matches. Yeah, the time was a factor in some of these. Next up, we have Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor in what will probably end up being the most controversial rating pick compared to us and Kane. I normally go, you know what? Everyone has a different flavor. Everyone's interested in different things. I think, and again, I haven't read Kane's review, but I do see that fucking 5 out of 10 sitting above my head, and I don't see where he got it. I can't wait to read your review, Kane, because I don't know how the hell you got a 5 out of 10 for this match. I loved it. I thought this is exactly what Finn Balor needed after years, honestly, of coming up short, after the Demon got neutered by Roman Reigns and Edge. I thought he needed a win with it. I was so glad to see him actually unleash a lot of very different, diverse offense with it, like we're used to seeing with the Demon. And ultimately, I'm glad he went over here. Dominic Mysterio had win after win after win. He didn't need this win. So I'm glad that Finn finally got to have a win. I gave this match a 7.5, which, as you guys know, I don't usually do 0.5s very often. Again, just like Trick and Sammy, I do feel like this match could have gone on even longer. We have seen longer Demon matches. We've seen longer Dom matches. So I really feel like these two could have gone for another 5 or so minutes. But again, it's just the ads were just absolutely killing this match. Whoops, hold on. I divided that by 600 instead of 6. So 7.6. It is going to get bumped up to an 8 because of the overall difference there. Just because, as Vic put there, Demon is his GOAT. That's why he gave his match a 9 out of 10. Kane, I can't wait to read this one. The stipulation of this match was changed last minute. Yes, it was made into a street fight. Initially, it wasn't. As of the night of the match, they changed it to a street fight. The stipulation of this match was changed last minute to spice up the card a little bit more, for which makes sense. But man, 4 years of storytelling and drawn-out tension between Finn and the Judgment Day for a broadly fine but not that extreme street fight. No Judgment Day drama, no callbacks, nothing. 2 cool entrances, a Demon gimmick that has lost all of its aura after defeats the God, Roman, and Cope, respectively, and action that you'd maybe enjoy on a Raw. These two deserve so much more than the afterthought they got, but hey, at least Finn won for a change. I can see your point from a standpoint of this could have been a Raw match. But I feel like with the Demon, with the entrances, with it being Finn versus Dom for the first time, it was still a WrestleMania moment and feel. I can see your point of wanting to expect a little bit more from the match, but I love the character play for these two. I thought that was great. I feel like Finn Balor can beat up JD McDonough on his own, as he did last night. And I'm pretty sure Kane's going to agree with me. That match was honestly probably better than Finn versus Dom. But ultimately, I don't see a problem putting this match where it's at. I understand where Kane's coming from. Now that I've read it, makes a lot of sense. But I still really enjoyed this match, so I'm not going to complain about it being an 8. So we'll go from there. But Kane, yeah, I hope you understand kind of where we're coming from there. If you guys are on Kane's side on this match, by all means, again, leave a comment down below. And we're on our penultimate matches here, guys. We are on Jade versus Rhea. I hate WrestleMania reviews because I'm always out of frickin' voice by the end of it. I am slowly losing my voice here. But we have Jade versus Rhea. Honestly, a match that I was shockingly surprised at. I gave it a 7, which, based on my reviews of this show, is honestly the worst. A 7 is bad for me right now. But I was expecting this match to be absolute, utter, hot, cocky dog shit. I have been very vocal lately that I am not a fan of Jade Cargill. I want to be a fan of Jade Cargill. She has the look that she should be a monster. She can't sell her ass. She cannot sell shit. She looks great on offense, but she's also in the ring with arguably the best seller on the roster. No one sells like Rhea Ripley does, except maybe Zoe Stark if she ever comes back. Rhea Ripley is the best seller in the business. So of course you're going to look good. So many people are saying, oh, this match showed that Jade Cargill can wrestle. And everyone that says she can't is a liar and a hater. And maybe I am a hater. But she also had her best match against someone who, in my opinion, is one of the big 3 in terms of putting on a match with anyone. I will stand here on this recording. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, even pregnant Bianca Belair, which, by the way, congratulations to Bianca. She announced her pregnancy at the end of, towards the end of night 1. I meant to mention that. So congratulations to Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. But a pregnant Belair and Rhea Ripley are the 3 women in this company that can put on a 3-star match minimum with a trash bag. And I stand by it. The one match with Io Sky that was bad, terrible, dog shit. Sonya Deville. And she's not with the company anymore. The only person that put on a bad Io Sky match is no longer with the company anymore. And that tells you something. You have to actively try to suck to have a bad match against Rhea, Io, or Bianca. And Jade Cargill tried her best to look good. She didn't want to put on a bad match because Jade Cargill's not stupid. She knows that there's a lot of people like me that want to like her, but she hasn't given me a reason to. This was the first time she's given me a reason to like her. I liked this match. Did I say that it was an all-star classic? No. Was this as good as Rhea versus Becky? No. Was this anywhere near Rhea versus Charlotte? No. But Jade Cargill hasn't been in the ring with a lot of people like Rhea. She's not used to it. So I think a 7 out of 10 is more than generous. And everyone else seems to agree. Tom, David, and John all gave it 7s. Vic gave it a 7.5. So let me put that on here. 1, 2, 3, 7.5. Kane gave it a 6. And stated that, first of all, I'd like to thank the MVP of this match, special guest commentary member, team member Adam. Yeah, why the fuck was he on commentary? I don't think he said anything. Some rich dude apparently paid to be on commentary for this match. Whatever. A fantastic addition that represented the storyline perfectly and added to the drama throughout the match, with thoughtful insights such as, and yeah, he never said anything. He was on commentary and didn't say a fucking word. Cool. Great, I guess. An all-time great commentator. Definitely not just a former financial criminal Turner crypto bro billionaire that paid to sit there and goon over 2 muscle mommies. Yeah, it was no reason he's there. Speaking of muscle mommies, boy, that Jade Cargill championship ring was worth it, huh? Rhea won and was able to get a good match out of Jade, but honestly, everything about this match felt like the business that NYC billionaire Adam Weissman is known for, recycled. 6 out of 10. 6.9 is what it's going to end up being, so it's actually going to end up averaging to that 7 that we were expecting it to be. Could have been a whole lot better, though, unfortunately. And last but not least, we have, in my opinion, and I feel like I'm going to have a lot of opinions about this match. And I'm going to try not to take too long because it's almost 8 p.m. and I actually want to stream tonight. But I have been very vocal that I was not interested in a Roman Reigns title reign ever again. I could go the rest of my life without ever seeing one. But unfortunately, I am now having to deal with a Roman Reigns World Heavyweight Championship run. It came in a match. When I first did my review, I gave it a 9 out of 10. And that was mostly out of anger because Roman won. However, I would be a hypocrite. Because I have also always said that wins and losses do not matter, it is how you get there. Most of the time. So I have changed my rating to a 10. Because as a match, ending be damned, this is one of the best WrestleMania matches I think I've ever seen. This was by far one of the best main events that we've had in quite some time. Obviously, I'm very partial to WrestleMania 40s because I was there live. But that had a lot of shenanigans, which we expected. Bloodline rules, right? We expected the shenanigans at the end. There were no shenanigans in this match. It was Roman versus Punk, which is very rare for Roman Reigns. And I enjoyed that. If his entire reign is like that and he wins without the Usos, I'm for it. I'll change my tune. I'll come around to it. But this match was damn near flawless. It told the story that they've been telling for our first 6 weeks. Punk collapsed trying to give the second GTS off the rope. His body gave out. He had one, he made one last gump and then lost. The table spot was excellent. Both of them. The back and forth was great. The near falls. No one does them better than Roman Reigns. the slight fight around the one spot that I felt like kind of was like weirdly weird with this match was the stair spot. Roman Reigns should have been disqualified. Like he hit it with the chairs. Like he should have been disqualified. They didn't do it because he's Roman Reigns, but he should have been disqualified. We'll forget that happened though. Overall, there really isn't much bad to say about this match. You'll notice the reviews with David, Tom, and Vic. They gave it a 9.5, 9, and 9 respectively, for the same reason that I initially gave it a 9. They were not happy with Roman Reigns getting the win. But I feel like if you put your feelings aside for the winner, and a 9.58 is going to put this match out of 10. If you put your feelings aside for the winner, this match had everything. Kane's review. Now this is WrestleMania. The wrestling dynasty versus the wrestling journey. No shenanigans or frills, just two men that hate each other going for the title. A beautiful story that played off the feud. Roman got worked up and had to recenter himself to stop Punk being in his head after he put on the Olafala. Roman proved he didn't need his family by putting Punk to the table by himself. And perhaps most importantly, CM Punk realizing that time was against him. That he was the old wrestler that Reigns said he was. Using everything he had to try and beat Reigns before the inevitable, including a low blow. But it couldn't be done. CM Punk wasn't ultimately defeated by Roman, but by his own body failing him. He had Roman dead. He GTS'd him, Roman bounced off the ropes onto his shoulders. You saw him beat Seth Rollins with that just a year ago. And he couldn't do it. He got him up like he did Seth, and his body collapsed. He had Roman beat, and his body failed him. One last desperate swing at Roman, but time had caught up with him, and Roman got the win. 10 out of 10, a truly remarkable story told by two of the best. No notes. I completely agree with Kane, 100%. I feel like that was the pinnacle of WrestleMania in general. As you can see, guys, 4 10s reached the board here. Varying agreeances with Kane, but ultimately speaking, 4 matches averaged out to a 10. I feel like the one match on here that will probably get the most hate is going to be the women's fatal 4-way being a 9 out of 10. But again, make your own review if you don't disagree. If you disagree with it, make your own review. All right, or comment down below and tell me why you disagree with it. But we were entertained, man. And again, maybe it's because we were all alcoholics and we were all drunk as shit and we didn't care anymore. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. We actually loved that match, though. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know down below. I'm sorry this video is so fucking long, but it is WrestleMania. So, that's what you get. Y'all have a fantastic night. I don't know exactly when this is going to go up because this is going to take forever to fucking edit because it's an hour long. And I don't have all the time in the world this week, but I will edit it. I will try to get it up before SmackDown. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Y'all have a good night. Until next time.